Hi guys, I am about to do another addiction video because it's been a while and I haven't talked about this with you guys in like forever. And I like to keep up on this every so often because, as you guys know, this is a very serious topic for me. Most of you know, but some of you don't. But I am a recovering heroin addict. I have 2 years clean as of September 6th of this year, working on forever. This is not something I want to turn back from. Sobriety has been one of the most difficult, challenging, heartbreaking, limit-pushing, but most beautiful experiences of my life. 3 years ago, I was 112 pounds, soaking wet. I was beaten, battered, bruised, not a dollar to my name. I mean, my own mother didn't recognize me. Took a charge for an ex, fucked my whole life up, okay? Now, I was like some of you who believed that addicts were like some fucking evil homeless trolls who lived under bridges and didn't have family that loved them and were fucking slouched in a corner with a needle hanging in their arm throwing babies in dumpsters, okay? I was there. But addiction has no face, has no bias, has no, weight, shape, size, color, height requirement. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, purple with pink polka dots. It doesn't matter if you have blonde hair, brown hair, blue eyes, green eyes. It doesn't matter if you're fat, skinny, short, tall. It does not matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you come from a rich family, from a poor family. It doesn't matter if you fucking, inherited millions when you came out your mother's pink, okay? It's just, it's there for everyone, okay? Here's my thing. Addiction, I always like to put it like this. You can be an addict and have never touched a drug. There are some of you who are watching this right now who have never picked up a drug in your entire life, and you may still be an addict. There are others of you who might be watching this who are doing coke or heroin or pills every fucking day of your life, and you might still not be an addict. Now, don't get that confused. What I mean by that is that there is literally an extra stem in the brain of an addict, of a natural born addict. And that stem is like a light switch. And the moment you do that drug, you flick it on. And that is what triggers your disease. Now, disease, that word, that triggers a huge debate, both between people that have no idea what they're talking about and should probably shut the fuck up, and people who have actually been through addiction and have survived addiction, okay? Even amongst people that are just like me and went through the same things as me, they still have a difference of opinions. However, facts do not lie, science does not lie, medicine does not lie. Doctors do not lie. And that is the biggest thing I tell people is do your research before you open your mouth. Do not speak on something that you do not know. Just because you feel that way, because that was your experience, does not mean that that is the experience of the rest of the world. I commonly see people that are like, oh, well, so-and-so quit cold turkey and, they didn't have no withdrawals, no nothing. Okay, well, either they lied about their use, because it is impossible to not have any type of physical withdrawal with heavy opiate use. It's impossible. There's no way. It physically gives you withdrawals, no matter who you are, okay? Whether you're an addict or not, if you were on opiates for a prolonged period of time, you were going to feel some type of withdrawal, whether it's mild and you just have an upset stomach and a headache, or if it's major and you're fucking buck naked, shaking, puking, sweating over a fucking toilet, okay? I've had both. Just like you see in the movies where, these girls are fucking sweating and naked and fucking crying and puking over a toilet and shaking and can't breathe. Yeah, I think that's a reality for some people. That big question, is addiction a disease or a choice? And a lot of people ask me what my view is on that. Here is my thing. It starts off as a choice, goes into the disease, and then goes back to a choice. And I'll explain that. Your first choice is whether you pick up that drug. You can always say no. Because, as I said, there are people who are naturally born addicts and people that are not born addicts. The people who are not born addicts can pick that drug up and try it, and they could say, I'm not going to do it again. Doesn't affect them the same way it affects an addict. An addict does that drug once, they flick on that light switch, and their body goes, give me more. And then it spirals from there. There's two forms of addiction. There's mental and then there's physical, okay? And when it comes to withdrawals, there are mental and physical. When you are an actual addict, you get both. You get physically addicted, you get mentally addicted. People who are not addicts usually only get physically addicted. They only have to go through a week of detox and they're done. It doesn't bother them anymore. Why? Because they do not have the disease of addiction, which it is a disease. And just like any disease, and I always hear that argument, well, cancer is a disease. Nobody goes and fucking does something and causes them to get cancer. Okay, they smoke. Cancer happens. It's a disease. You can trigger it. People are usually born with the genes for cancer. And that's why they get cancer. They were born with genes in their body that gave them a higher risk of getting cancer. Just like with addiction, you are born with those genes that give you a higher risk of having addiction. Having an addictive personality, having an inability to control that urge, okay? Just like with diabetes, okay? People eat too much, they get diabetes. Eat too much sugar, they get diabetes. What do they have to do? They have to treat that disease with insulin and doctor's visits and blah, 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 blah. It's a process. It's the same thing with addiction. It is. It is the same fucking thing. Addiction is not curable. It is one of those diseases that is not curable.
Not until you're buried.
You don't lose your addiction, just like Brandon just said. You don't lose your addiction until you're dead. It will stay with you for the rest of your life. It is treatable, but it is not curable. It takes the rest of your life to control that and contain that. With doctors and therapy and medications, and willpower is a big part of this. Don't get it wrong. Don't think that I'm saying you have no control over yourself. This is what I meant by choice, disease, choice. You choose to pick up the drug, you trigger your disease, and it's fucking just, it takes over your whole fucking life, your body, your brain, the whole 9 yards. If you would research this, you would understand that opiate use physically changes your brain, literally changes the makeup of your brain. It's like taking off all the cords to your TV and redirecting them all over the place. Or those old school switchboards, how they used to have to plug them in. It's like taking them all out and rerouting them all. That's literally what happens to your brain. You can change the person you are with drug use. Your personality, the way you think, your intelligence level, your motor skills, it literally changes your fucking brain. And some of you don't seem to understand that. If you would do your research, you would get that. You grow fake opiate receptors that literally change the fucking composition of your brain. That's huge. That is a serious disease. That is a problem. It's like people that know, like I said with diabetes, it's like people that know they're prone to diabetes, but then they go and drink, or they go and eat sugary foods, or they go and, at the time they don't think anything of it, but then the damage is done, and guess what? They're on insulin for the rest of their lives. It is the same thing, which brings you back to your second level of choice. You can choose to either allow this disease to kill you and make you sick and take your body and mind, or you can choose to go seek treatment. You can choose to get help. That is your choice. So is it a disease or is it a choice? It is both. It is both. 100% without a doubt in my mind. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm speaking from research. I'm speaking from the mouths of therapists that I have been across in the last couple years of my life. I'm speaking from the absolute desire in my soul to become a drug and alcohol therapist. I've wanted this since the day I got clean, and I will be a drug and alcohol therapist. That is the career I want to take in life. Because I do not believe that there are enough people in this world teaching about addiction that have actually gone through it. It's like somebody trying to teach you about Jesus who's never been to church. It just doesn't make sense. It's like somebody trying to teach you how to drive a car who's never driven themselves. Would you take driving lessons from somebody who's never sat in a vehicle before? Would you take English lessons from somebody who only speaks Spanish? It doesn't work that way. Some of you need to seriously do your research before you speak on something you know nothing the fuck about. These are people's lives. These are people's children and sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews. People who are loved. People whose mothers sit up every night wondering if their kid is going to come home. The shit I put my mother through is unreal. So when you make generalized statements about how these junkies are just junkies and they're out fucking tossing babies in dumpsters and they're slouched under fucking bridges with needles hanging out of their arms and nobody gives a fuck if they live or die. How they drain society and you know, you want to know something? When I was a full-blown addict, I worked 60 hours a week at 2 jobs. It's called a functioning addict. It's called somebody who still goes to work and pays their taxes. They just choose to spend their money on dumb shit. I just think that there is a huge misconception, and I think that people, it blows my mind how there's so much technology at our fingertips to gain knowledge on situations, and we still turn a blind eye and choose to not utilize what's right in front of us. If you don't want to research and you don't want to actually look into what the fuck you're talking about, then just remove yourself from the conversation because you're not adding anything to anybody's purpose. It's pointless. All you're doing is adding more false information to a really, really murky pot as it is. The waters of addiction are very murky, okay? There's very fine lines. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of, ifs, ands, and gray areas. Bottom line is, though, you do have a choice to get help. I don't agree with the people that use their disease as an excuse. Oh, well, it's a disease and I can't help it. I understand that you can't help it, but you can go find people that can help you help it. There are ways to get clean. You have to have the willpower, the drive, the dedication, and the desire to better your life. And you can't force anybody to get clean. You can't. You cannot. I don't care how much love you give. I don't care what you try to do to bribe them, love them, force them. It is not going to happen until they want to get help themselves. And unfortunately, for so many people, some of the best people I've met in my entire life were addicts. You would be surprised. I was in rehab with doctors and lawyers. There was a fucking pediatric surgeon who saved hundreds of children's lives but could not control his own. Had a beautiful wife and 2 kids at home who loved him dearly, and he had a severe coke addiction. Ruined his life. But he went and got help. A lawyer who defends countless other people in the courtroom who couldn't keep his fucking nose out of the dope. Chose to get help. And then there's me. A small town girl who busted her ass from the age of 16, helped her mother, got straight A's in school, never got in trouble. And it took one wrong choice with one wrong man to do one wrong thing. I can't talk. But you get my point. It took 1 second, one moment for me to make a life-changing decision. I don't like to think about where I would be if I never would have picked up that drug. Because I also get asked a lot if I would go back and change things, and I don't think I would. I don't, because it humbled me. My addiction humbled me. Like I said, I used to be one of you who thought that, addicts were just pieces of shit, worthless scum in society, and they should just get a hot bag and fucking kill themselves, which that is so, so, so wrong. It humbled me. It made me see the world in a different perspective. It made me see just how dark and low times can be for some people. My rock bottom was a very low rock bottom. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things around me. It made me who I am. It put me on the path where I needed to be. I needed to go through the things that I went through to be the person that I am right now. And then look around. Excuse the dishes, but I've got a brand new apartment. I've got a wonderful boyfriend. I have a job where I just got promoted. I'm doing very well in my life, okay? Maybe I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm exactly where I should be. And it literally drives me up a fucking wall when I see these conversations on Facebook and people have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. None. And I know I feel your frustration because there are plenty of you that read the same shit and see the same hurtful comments. But you know what I have to say to them? Nothing. I have nothing to say to the ignorance of people who speak on which they do not know. Do not give them a single glimmer of your sunshine. If you're watching this and you're struggling, there are so many programs out there that'll help you. If you've got kids and you're worried about losing your kids, they will not take your kids for going to get help. They may put pressure on you. They may make you jump through hoops. And you may question 1,000 times why you opened that can of worms, because now they're all up in your business. You're getting urines. They're checking on you. But you know what? At the end of it all, when you're sober and your kids have their mother back or their father back, I promise you it's worth it. Sobriety is not easy. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it's a walk in the park. I think about it more than I would like to admit. There's days that I sit there and it's the only thing on my fucking mind. But then I remember where I was and where I am now, and how I will never let myself go back to that dark place. You can get help. You can get clean. And do not let anyone belittle your struggle and make you feel as if it's as easy as snapping your fingers and saying, I'm done. Sobriety is on your own terms. Not one single person is like the other. Your sobriety is exactly that. Yours. Mine is mine. And anyone who speaks on your situation can literally eat a dick. I didn't know how to keep that proper on that one. I mean, seriously. You need to focus on you. And for all you little fucking jack-offs that like to find your little mouths and act like you're fucking scientists and doctors, like you just know the whole fucking world, and oh, well, it's easy. All you gotta do is say no. I pray that you never have somebody that you love go through this. Chances are, though, even if you think you don't know an addict, you probably do. And it's probably closer to home than you think. I pray not, but I promise you. To all my brothers and sisters out there who are struggling today, who have struggled yesterday, and who will struggle tomorrow, I pray for you. I pray that God grants you the serenity to accept the things you cannot change the things you have the ability to do, and know the difference between the two. I pray for you. And I am here for you. I will always, always, always do my best to answer messages when it comes to people looking for help. I can only do so much. I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. But I will answer your questions as honestly as I can. But to answer the age-old debate, as I've said before, it is both. And the choice is in your hands this very moment. But I gotta go, guys. This is an extremely long fucking video, but the ones who need to hear it will probably watch it till the end. Love you guys.